No one wants to spend their entire life chasing money, only to find out later that they lost their health, friends, and peace of mind along the way. What almost no one tells you is that there is a smart way to build wealth without becoming a slave to work, without living in a stressful situation, and without giving up peace of mind. Today, you will discover exactly how some people are accumulating wealth, achieving freedom, and at the same time, living lightly while others remain trapped in the rat race. If this type of life makes sense to you, take advantage of this video, subscribe to the Shrewd Mindset channel, and activate the bell. Today's content can change the way you think about success. There is a silent, almost invisible idea that controls the lives of millions of people. The more money, the more happiness. It is that voice that says, "I will only relax when I double my salary. I will only be well when I have $1 million in the bank. I will only be happy when I achieve everything." But what if this is a well-laid trap? Think for a second. Does a jump from $50,000 to $500,000 a year really bring 5 times more peace? Does a $5 million mansion really cure the anxiety that began in the 600-square-foot studio? Or has the emptiness just gained more space and more echo? Serious studies have already shown, after about $75,000 a year, emotional happiness almost stagnates. That is because what increases, from that point on, is not peace, it is pressure. More bills, more taxes, more responsibilities, more fear of losing everything, and more comparisons with even richer people. And here comes the most curious part. Many people don't even know what they would do with more. Ask someone what they would change if they earned $300,000 a year, and the answer is usually vague. "Oh, I think I would travel more. I would buy a better car, maybe a bigger house." But almost no one says, "I would sleep better. I would have time to walk with my son. I would do things that feed my soul." And that is why more rarely brings what it promises. The problem is not wanting to prosper, but believing that only a bigger number will solve your life. What really solves the problem is aligning your money with what you truly value. Otherwise, you become a slave to the next zero in your account, without ever feeling complete. And there is more. This myth feeds an unfair race, where no one knows where the finish line is. You have seen it. Those who earn 100,000 want 200. Those who have 1 million want 2. It is like running on a treadmill. No matter how hard you try, you will not move emotionally. So perhaps the right question is not how to earn more, but rather, how much is enough to live lightly? When you find this answer, everything changes, because money stops being an end, and becomes a means, an ally, an instrument of peace, not slavery. The journey to becoming truly rich begins with a simple but powerful realization: money has levels. And understanding these levels completely changes the way you think about success. This is the first step. Here, money is used to cover the basics: shelter, food, paying bills, health, a little comfort. It's not about luxury, it's about breathing, without fear that everything will fall apart at the end of the month. This is where you stop surviving and start living. But the problem is that many people live at this level their entire lives. Not because they lack the ability, but because they have confused security with status. They trade peace for appearances. They buy a car they can't afford to maintain just to appear successful. And they end up eternally in debt, always on the edge. The window shopping trap. The magic starts here. This level isn't just about money in the bank, but real-life choices. It's being able to say no to a job you hate. It's choosing to spend a Tuesday with your family because you can. Freedom is not having to ask permission to live. And you know what's most interesting? Many people think that they can only reach this level by earning millions. But sometimes freedom costs less than you think. With the right choices, simple investments, and an intentional lifestyle, you can get here earning much less than the financial gurus make it seem. This is the level where money stops being about you and starts being about something bigger. It's when you already have enough and start using your money to make an impact. Maybe it's helping your family, or supporting causes you believe in, or creating something that changes lives. At this point, every dollar that comes in has a meaning. You no longer live to make money. Money lives to help you live better and leave a legacy. But here's the saddest and real point. Most people never leave the first level. Not because they can't, but because they were taught to chase money without stopping to ask, what for? They live in a cycle of consumption, trying to appear rich while losing exactly what wealth should give: time, freedom, and peace. Leveling up requires awareness. It requires stopping comparing yourself. It requires courage to live a lifestyle aligned with your values and not with the expectations of others. And the best part? You can start climbing today. Even if you are still at the first level, the simple act of finding purpose in your choices already puts you on the right path. Making money is important, but making money and losing your mental health in the process doesn't make any sense. Today's culture glorifies exhaustion. If someone is sleeping 4 hours a night, skipping meals, and answering emails at 3 a.m., the world applauds and calls them a warrior. But no one asks what they're sacrificing. Because if your bank account grows while your soul shrinks, that's not victory. It's collapse disguised as success. There is a smarter, more human way to get rich. A way that respects your time, your peace, and your well-being. And it starts with a simple but profound question. How can I earn more without working harder and harder? The answer lies in income that doesn't depend exclusively on your daily effort. We're talking about sources that continue to generate money even when you're not there. What's that called? Passive income. It's not magic. It's not get rich while you sleep. But it is the concept that separates those who are always chasing money from those who build a system where money starts chasing people. Think about it. Imagine waking up and knowing that, just because of smart decisions made months or years ago, $2,000 are deposited in your account every month without you having to spend hours on it. This changes everything. It changes how you work, how you think, and even how you breathe. And the possibilities are real. Dividends from well-chosen stocks, which pay a portion of the profits directly into your pocket. Royalties for creating something useful. A book, a song, an online course. Digital products, which you build once and sell as many times as you want to people you don't even know. Real estate, which generates constant rent while increasing in value over time. Even automated businesses, where technology does the heavy lifting for you. And here's the detail that many people ignore. You don't have to start big. You don't need $500,000 invested to start reaping the rewards. Many people start with $100, $200, $500 a month and build up little by little. The important thing is to plant the right seeds. While others get stuck in the rat race of work, pay bills, repeat, those who understand this game start to gain something that is worth even more than money: freedom of choice. Because in the end, the real goal is not to accumulate bills. It is to have the life that money should allow. Time to live, energy to create, peace to enjoy. Few people realize this, but one of the greatest forms of wealth does not appear on your bank statement. It is not in the number of digits in your account, nor in your properties, nor in your investments. It is in the power to say no. You know that boss who disrespects you? That client who calls on the weekend and thinks he owns your time? Or that routine that consumes your energy, that turns your days into tired repetitions of a movie you did not choose to watch? True wealth is being able to look at all this and say, no more. But this is not arrogance. It is not rebellion. It is freedom. And freedom only comes with structure. There is no point in shouting for autonomy if, at the end of the month, your life depends on the next paycheck. That is why so many people swallow toads, burn brain cells, pretend that everything is fine. Those who have an intelligent financial plan, even if they are still far from considering themselves rich, already begin to accumulate this power. Because when you have an emergency fund, you sleep differently. When you start to build predictable sources of income, your attitude changes. And when your expenses are lower than your earnings, you start to walk more lightly, because you know that if everything goes wrong, you are not a hostage. Knowing how to say no is a type of courage that many people never experience. But it is also a type of peace that is priceless. And here's something curious. The more you can say no to what drains you, the more doors open to what strengthens you. You say no to a toxic boss, and make room for an original project. Say no to an abusive client, and gain time to find someone who truly values your work. Say no to a crushing routine, and start building days that make sense. But none of this happens by chance. You need to plant it first. You need to create a plan that respects your time, that protects your mental health, that doesn't depend on 1,000 variables to work. It's not about working harder, it's about building foundations that give you choices. And the big change is this. The more you practice saying no, the stronger your yes becomes. Yes to you. Yes to your peace. Yes to a life worth living. In a world where everyone is screaming for attention, those who find silence find gold. We have been conditioned to believe that productivity is always doing something, that success is a busy schedule, that stopping is a waste of time. But there is something that few understand. Those who do not learn to be silent never listen to what really matters. Peace of mind does not come from spreadsheets, nor from achieving goals, nor from a fat bonus at the end of the month. It comes from moments when you disconnect from the noise and reconnect with yourself. Think of how many bad decisions have been made because the mind was racing too fast. How many costly mistakes, how many broken relationships, how many abandoned projects, simply because there was no room to breathe. A tired mind sees problems where there are none. A calm mind sees opportunities even in chaos. That is why the truly intelligent way to get rich does not exclude silence. It values it. It is not just about investing in stocks or real estate. It is about investing in mental clarity. And here's the paradox. The more noise you cut out of your life, the more you hear what can truly enrich you. Meditation. Walks in nature without a cell phone in your pocket. Days without notifications, without emails, without a busy schedule. Moments when you're not doing, you're just being. This may seem unproductive at first, but oftentimes it's precisely in these breaks that the best ideas are born. Great entrepreneurs, sharp-minded investors, artists who create things that touch the world all have something in common. They protect silence as a valuable asset. Because silence does something that money alone can never do. It restores. It restores energy. It restores focus. It restores the ability to think deeply. Making 6 figures a year and living with insomnia, anxiety, and chronic fatigue is not wealth. It's an expensive cover for a silent breakdown. Now, having the space to wake up without rushing, to think clearly, to feel gratitude in the middle of an ordinary day, that is what living abundantly is all about. And the best part? It doesn't cost anything. Silence is available now. You just have to choose it. Some people think that being rich means living like in luxury car commercials. Giant mansions, shiny watches on your wrist, extravagant trips every weekend. But here's a reality check. The most laid-back millionaires I've ever met didn't need to prove anything to anyone. They drove ordinary cars, wore modest clothes, and lived in comfortable, non-exaggerated homes. Why? Because they discovered something that most people take decades to understand. The less you need, the freer you are. Every expense you make is not just a transaction. It's a micro-decision between 2 possibilities: freedom now or prison later. Buying something you don't need, to impress someone you barely know, with money that isn't even really yours. That's not wealth. It's a trap. And that's where simplicity comes in. Not as a restriction, but as liberation. Simplicity is not synonymous with scarcity. It's synonymous with clarity. It's about looking at your life and asking, what's really valuable here? and what's just taking up space, draining energy and sucking up my money. The truly rich, those who sleep well, think calmly and live in control of their own schedules, see simplicity as a strategic weapon. They know that the simpler your life, the faster your money multiplies. And, even better, the more time you have left to enjoy what really matters. People who adopt financial minimalism are not trying to be cool. They are trying to be free. Free from status anxiety, free from the cycle of debt, free from the weight of an inflated life that demands more than it delivers. They know that they don't need 10 credit cards, 3 cars, and a full closet to feel complete, because they already have something that can't be bought: sufficiency. Sufficiency is when you look around and think, I have what I need. The rest is a bonus. And when this happens, something magical happens to money. It stops being a shield, an obsession, or a measure of personal value and becomes just what it should have always been: a tool. A tool to live with ease, to help, to grow, and, most importantly, to not depend on anything that enslaves you. There is a type of wealth that no one posts about. You won't see it in 15-second stories, nor will it become a trend on TikTok. It doesn't appear in brunch photos or in sped-up videos of a luxury car speeding down the road. But, curiously, this is the wealth that matters most. Do you know what it is? The bills paid on time without the headache. A full fridge without having to pay in installments. A night of deep sleep without waking up in the middle of the night thinking about bills. Dinner with the one you love without having to look at the clock every 5 minutes. The peace of mind of knowing that everything is under control even if no one sees it. While many people live to impress strangers, the truly rich live to respect themselves. It's easy to appear rich. What's hard is to be rich on the inside, with a calm mind, solid values, and conscious choices. Because what shines on the internet usually hides what's broken outside of it. That international trip may have been financed. That luxury car may be rented just for the video. That smile in the selfie. Sometimes it's just tiredness in disguise. And it's okay to want good things, to want comfort, to want quality. But the question is, who are you building your life for? For likes or for your freedom? The truly rich don't live chasing validation. They live in silence, but with power, with control, with choices, with time. They don't need to post that they're doing well. They're doing well, and that's enough. The new wealth isn't flashy. It's discreet, sustainable, and solid. It's a wealth that pays for dreams, but also silence, that builds assets, but also memories, that pays for what matters and ignores the noise. And the best part, this wealth starts within, and it grows every time you choose the real over the theatrical, peace over performance. Investing can be one of the most powerful ways to create wealth, but it's also one of the easiest ways to lose your mind. What many people don't talk about is that the financial market is full of emotional traps. You see the stock market rising and falling, the news bombarding you with catastrophic predictions or promises of quick profits. The temptation to act without thinking, to jump on the bandwagon of emotion and the "I need this now," is real and constant. But true wealth doesn't come from desperation. True wealth comes from control, strategy, and calm. Investing doesn't have to be an emotional roller coaster. In fact, the smartest investment is the one you make with a cool head, without rushing and without despair. And to do this in a solid way, you need a clear plan. Imagine that you have a map. This map is your guide, your path to financial independence. And for this map to be effective, you need a well-structured investment plan. Here's a simple but powerful example. 30% in solid long-term stocks. These are the companies that you know will continue to grow, even in tough times. Companies with strong fundamentals, consistent track records, and that have the potential to thrive over the years. These are the ones you buy and forget about, because you know that, in the long run, they will continue to make you rich. 20% in diversified ETFs. ETFs are like baskets of stocks. you invest in a variety of companies from different sectors, thus spreading your risk. The big secret here is that by diversifying, you don't get too exposed to any one company or sector, which means less panic when the market fluctuates. Investing in ETFs is a way to ensure that you are well positioned for growth without relying on luck. 10% in growth opportunities. Now comes the interesting part, the small opportunities. Promising startups, emerging technologies, or other fast-growing areas. Here, the risk is higher, but the reward can be huge. However, the key is to never overexpose yourself to these opportunities. They are for those times when you have time, energy, and a little more flexibility to take controlled risks. 10% in yourself, courses, health, free time. The best investment is the one you make in yourself. If you don't invest in your own learning, health, and well-being, what's the point of making money? Improving your skills, taking care of your physical and mental health, or investing in experiences that make you grow and evolve. These types of investments will never let you down. And, unlike stocks and assets, these investments provide you with an internal security that no portfolio can provide. And the most important thing in all of this? Discipline. Investing without losing your mind is about creating healthy, long-term habits. It's not about trying to make a fortune quickly. It's about making well-thought-out choices and, most importantly, staying calm when everything around you seems to be falling apart. Because, in the end, ups and downs are inevitable. The key is to have a strategy that will help you weather the storms and take advantage of the good winds. Remember, investing with vision is what separates long-term investors from speculators. When you are able to stay focused, it doesn't matter what the market does today. You are in control, and that control will ensure that in the future you can look back and say, "I did it right." There is a simple but profound question that many people avoid asking themselves. It is not about how much money you have, nor about what you are going to buy with it. It is about how it makes you feel. Is what you are doing with your money today helping you sleep better or worse? It seems simple, doesn't it? But the answer could be the key to a life of true wealth and peace. Because in the end, what matters is not just your bank balance or the amount of assets you are able to accumulate. It is the quality of life you are able to live. And a fundamental part of that is the peace of mind. Money should be a means, not an end. It should be a tool that allows you to live without fear, without constant worries, and, most importantly, without that feeling of always chasing after something that never comes. Why do so many people wake up in the middle of the night with their hearts racing and their minds full of bills and uncertainties? Because they made impulsive financial choices, because they lost themselves in the pressure to have more, to show off more, to follow what the world dictates. And in doing so, they lost the most important thing: peace of mind. Having a lot of money will not automatically give you peace. Peace comes from the decisions you make now, aligned with your values. And this is a choice you make every day. When you make financial decisions aligned with what really matters to you, money becomes an ally, not a burden. It's not about doing what everyone else is doing, nor about having what everyone else has. It's about being true to your own principles, understanding where your money is best invested to bring you true satisfaction, and not just the temporary satisfaction of external impressions. Here's the secret. When you invest in things that really matter to you, like your health, education, time with your family, or even the freedom to travel and live more lightly, money starts working to give you peace. Instead of worrying about what will happen tomorrow, you start taking actions that create a peaceful future, without that feeling that something could go wrong at any moment. Now, think about it. How many times have you used your money to fill momentary voids? To satisfy an emotional need to have more, have what others have, or show that you can? And in the end, how did that make you feel? Good or empty? Becoming rich and living in peace is a journey of balance. It's not about accumulating wealth to surround yourself with more things, more stress, more anxiety. It's about making financial choices that bring you closer to your most peaceful, most fulfilled self. You don't need $1,000,000 to have a good night's sleep, but you do need 1,000,000 decisions that bring you closer to your true purpose and your true priorities. The secret is to be intentional, choosing where and how to spend, invest, save, based on what will truly improve your life, your mental health, and your happiness. In the end, the money that makes you sleep better isn't what you have, but how you use it to create a life in harmony with your values. Have you ever stopped to think about the impact that the people around you have on your journey to wealth and peace of mind? The old saying, "Tell me who you hang out with and I'll tell you who you are," has never been more true. You can be the most determined person, with the best plans and intentions. But if you're surrounded by people who constantly pull you down, who encourage you to compare yourself to others and worry about things that don't matter, everything can quickly fall apart. The big question is, are the people around you pushing you forward or pulling you down? This question can be the key to understanding what's really stopping you from achieving your goals and even your peace of mind. Many times, it's not the lack of resources that prevents us from moving forward, but rather the environment we choose to live in. You know that friend who always says that money can't buy happiness, but is always complaining about life? Or that colleague who prides himself on always being busy, but never seems to be truly satisfied with anything? These people are often the ones who keep you stuck in a mindset of scarcity and stress. Instead of motivating you to grow, to learn, to be more, they end up keeping you in your comfort zone, where excuses and victimization take the place of action. Now, imagine the difference it would make if your circle was made up of people who share the same vision of peace and sustainable success. People who understand that it's not about doing more, but about doing better. People who push you forward, who inspire you to be more than you are now, and who help you see the potential you have not only to make money, but also to achieve balance and peace of mind. That's where the true power of a positive circle lies. They help you see what you can't yet see. They lift you up. They make you want to be the best version of yourself, not for the sake of competition, but for pure inspiration. And here's the most important point. When you stop comparing yourself to others and start being inspired by them, the game changes radically. You stop seeing someone else's success as a threat and start seeing it as a possibility for you too. Think about it. The more you compare yourself, the more you lose. The more you inspire yourself, the more you grow. This change in mindset can be the big turning point you need to start building your own wealth in a relaxed way, without the pressure of being better than someone else, but with a genuine desire to evolve. Swap comparison for inspiration. This doesn't just change the game, it changes your life. You'll notice that when you surround yourself with people who share the same values, the environment around you starts to push you in the right direction. You no longer feel stagnant. You no longer feel like you're swimming against the current. On the contrary, you start to realize that true success is not a competition. It is a journey, and with the right people, this journey becomes lighter, more enjoyable, and much more powerful. We live in a world where everything seems to be a race against time. Society has taught us to measure success by the number of hours we work, the speed at which we reach milestones, and the constant rush to keep moving. But here's the uncomfortable truth that few people talk about. It's not time that defines your success. It's how you choose to use it. Getting rich the smart way means having the power to control your own pace. Instead of chasing quick results without thinking about the impact on your mental health or life balance, you learn to work purposefully, consciously, on your own time. That's true freedom. When you choose the pace that works for you, without getting caught up in the frenzy that everyone else around you seems to be following, you open the door to a type of success that goes far beyond bank accounts. You achieve inner peace. Imagine, for a moment, you have the freedom to take vacations without guilt, to take a break when you feel you need it, to rest without fear that your business or career will fall apart. Contrary to what many people think, taking a break is not a sign of weakness or a lack of ambition. On the contrary, it is a sign of intelligence and an understanding of what it takes to maintain your mental and physical health while continuing to build your empire in a sustainable way. True success is not about getting more done in less time. It is not about being the busiest person in the room. It is about being able to create a system that works for you, where you can be at peace while you work and at peace while you rest. What you see as success today is based on other people's time. It is that game where people compete to see who gets there first, who works the longest hours, or who has the most to show for it. But that has nothing to do with being truly successful in a lasting way. True success is taking your time, because you know you are in control. You understand that each choice you make at your own pace creates a more balanced, more real future. Sounds hard to believe? The truth is that people who truly achieve something significant are those who don't follow the rush of others. They know that success doesn't come in a straight line, nor in a quick sprint. It comes on a lighter, more intentional path, where each step is taken with the clarity of someone who knows what they want and when they want it. Real success is the one you build in your own time, not in the time of others. And perhaps the biggest lesson here is this: having control over your own time is, in fact, the greatest form of freedom you can achieve. It's not about saying no to success, but about building a life where success and peace coexist, where money becomes a facilitator of freedom, not a prison, where you can breathe, relax, and know that each decision you make reflects your true vision of life, not a vision imposed by external pressures. When you start operating at your own pace, the game changes. Money doesn't become a burden, but rather a tool that allows you to choose how to live. It's not about rushing to reach a distant goal, but about enjoying every step of the journey. Think of it as a marathon, not a sprint. Sometimes the secret to achieving true wealth and happiness isn't speeding up, but slowing down at the right time to keep your health, relationships, and sanity intact. Wealth today has a new definition: time, health, peace, freedom, love, and money. It's just a tool. If this vision makes sense to you, like it, subscribe to the channel, and share this video with someone who is still stuck in the old race. Because at the end of the day, the smartest way to get rich is to not lose your soul in the process.